So everything that has to do with the inflation, everything that's got to do with interest rate, with exchange rate, that's the domain of the central bank. And some level of autonomy is important for the monetary authorities to be able to act without being driven by any political incentives or political contexts. The political context must not be ignored, but to directly make it a part of what the CBN has to daily worry about, it reduces the effectiveness of monetary policy.
But when the government of the day says this is where we're going, for example, one would think that the central bank, they should be speaking, they should have agreed on some level of the direction in the monetary policy of the country.
But I think they have over-agreed. You're saying they should agree. I am saying they have over-agreed with the executive. When you look at the FX policy, it is harmful to the economy. And the reason that we have the FX policy that we have today is simply because our president is completely sold on the idea that you can, determine the nominal value of the naira to the dollar, and once you can get it very low, everything will be fine. We now see that nominal exchange rate is not the most important factor. It's the productivity of your economy that matters. So your price levels can change because certain fundamentals have changed. You used to, look at the percentage of shortfall in oil revenue that you're suffering now. It's only because where oil prices are climbing back up again. Otherwise, we lost as much as 60%. Now, when you have that kind of a shortfall, that's a major shock to your economy. So if you then decided from a political perspective that you just want to, maintain a strong naira, it's politically appealing. But how about the reality, the economic reality of that? So if you have a central bank that dances along and wants to, try to give the president what he wants, then what you're going to have is the confusion that we have.
Because
today we've got a lot of inaction.
Yeah, maybe
it's not just inaction. Yeah. We have God knows multiple rates that we have of the exchange rates between the naira and the dollar.
And people will be, the practical implication now is the fact that those who have their children schooling abroad, they were paying, some of them in a value of naira, maybe they were paying 300,000 naira for school fees, for tuition per year. Now they are perhaps paying over 700,000 naira. And in practical terms, that means that it's either they pull out those children out of those schools abroad and bring them back. It same will apply for people who have businesses here in Nigeria, who, of course, are dependent on the FX and all of that. But if you look at it, how harmful, and do you see, because the dollar to a naira in the parallel market is about 500 naira now, how harmful is it to Nigeria, and how soon do you see that this will ease up?
Well, until you apply yourself to sensible monetary policy where you allow the market as much as possible to determine the value of the naira. Nominally, it could be any ratio. But you need to look at what the underlying factors are. And the underlying factors are really that we need to be ensuring that the market incentives are out there, meaning we have the environment that enables business to thrive. When we have an environment, an investment climate that enables business to operate and do well, it includes being able to have a monetary policy that that does not create uncertainty. There would be risk, but it is the uncertainty where you don't know what political directive would come to the central bank governor. That can be a source of skittishness on the part of investors. Now, if you don't address those fundamentals, you're going to have a monetary policy that is not very clear to investors. Therefore, you're going to have a frozen supply side of the dollar into your economy. What you need now is to be able to unfreeze, or rather defreeze, the supply side of the FX market, where people are sort of saying, you know what, with these multiple rates, I have to be careful how I'm landing my money into the Nigerian economy. So if you want to see in the foreseeable time the dollar, for those who really look at this thing as a matter of nominal exchange rate, we want $1 to be 1 naira and all of that, you know, that's not going to happen. You know, we need to be very, very frank with ourselves in this country. The productivity of our economy is what we see reflected in the exchange rate between currencies. So the more that we can actually do an export-led economy and have much more dollars that we're earning other than from oil, which is subject to all kinds of variabilities that we don't control, then we will begin to do okay.
Do you see us moving gradually towards that? I mean, with the diversification plan of the federal government, is it practical enough for you to get us to that point where you're describing?
You know, just imagine what the story of China was 30 years ago, or India was 20 years ago, and compared to what their story is today. All things are possible. One thing that we have seen looking at countries is that if you follow certain basic principles in economic policy, you will get to a certain level of success. Now, we had no reason to abandon the market economy approach that we had been following until May 2015. We should just have continued with that part. Our price levels will adjust themselves, and we can occasionally tweak some things, but not to the point where right now you have a confusion that the economy is having to suffer as a result of this major problem of the FX policy.
Dr. Ezekwesili, we will take a short break, and when we return, my guest here will be talking to us on making sense of the Buhari economic plans and programs. Well, we look details into the 2017 budget, the Eurobond. Where are we headed as a country? That's next on the program.